and welcome to Talks with Shay. So today I would like to begin with reading from Psalm chapter 27 and verse 14. And it says, Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. So today for part 3 of Road Trip, I would like to talk to you about speed limits. So when we're talking about speed limits, y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't know how many of y'all be rolling and, obeying the speed limits or not obeying the speed limits. I know for me, I'm a speeder trying to do better. But, when we think about just speed limits, when we think about even different speed limits all over the place, right? Depending on where we are driving, if we are in a residential place, the speed limits are much slower. If we are maybe on the highway, the interstates, the speed limit is much higher, So depending where we are and even what country, because different countries have different speed limits and some don't have any at all. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. But I would have a field day out there. But anyway, when we think about just speed limits, in reason, the law put those things in place for our safety, right? Now, we don't always obey the speed limit, though we should. Some people may, some people may not. But anyway, when we think about just planning a trip, we're taking these road trips, and you think about different road trips, depending on what city you're passing through, the speed limits seem to go up and down, up and down, up and down, and different things like that. But you have to be mindful of that. I know for me, when I drive up north in Louisiana, there is going for work or whatever, there's certain little cities that I have to pass, or little towns. And it seems like the cops are always right there waiting for somebody to come through, flying through. So, but when you're not aware of those different speed limit adjustments, sometimes that's how they catch you, right? Because they're just waiting for you to just blink your eyes so they can turn on. It's like you missed the sign and didn't even realize it because you blinked or you looked away for 5 seconds or something like that. But when we're planning different road trips, we don't know these areas much. So a lot of times we tend to follow the speed limits very carefully. Nowadays the cars are so smart. You have if you're not sure what the speed limit is, it'll tell you what the speed limit is depending on where you are. These cars are so smart, guys. But anyway, when I think about just life in general, when we're talking about a road trip, we're talking about speed limits. And when we flip that and look at it in a different perspective, for example, when we looking into our lives and we thinking about speed limits, I look at it like rushing God. Because so many times we get weary, we get frustrated with God's timing, right? His timing is everything. His timing is perfect. He's an on-time God. He never is late, right? And so it's up to us to recognize those things. But sometimes when we're in the midst of all of the chaos and all of the confusion and everything just going all over the place, and it seems like my promise is never going to arrive, or it seems like this is never going to happen for me, and all of these things, and it's like we just sometimes need to pump our brakes and say, you know what? It's his timing. Because God doesn't make mistakes. And if God doesn't make mistakes, then why are we always trying to rush God? I remember years ago, a preacher preached and was like, he said something along the lines, and I've heard several people say it, in preaching and different things like that. But anyway, and he said, we live in a microwave, society. I guess I was about to say community. We live in a microwave society. Everybody wants everything right now, right? We think about even Hollywood. Let's say that, nobody want to no more be disciplined to lose weight, right? Let's just pop pills or take shots to kind of lose weight. Nobody want to be satisfied with anything. Let's have these surgeries so we can get what we want, to reshape our figure and all of these things, because nobody want to be disciplined enough to work at what you really want and the results you want. When I think about God, his timing is perfect. You know, when we think about even as far as like Hollywood always wanting to increase something, whether it's getting fake up here or fake back there or whatever, enhancing it, like people like to say. You know, and the reality of it is you can do different things and exercises to get the shape that you want. You don't have to have all of these surgeries, spend all of this money, but that's the world that we live in, a microwave society where everybody don't want to be patient and wait on God to do what he is trying to do in our lives. And I say ours because I'm guilty of that. You know, I'm guilty of sometimes like, God, looking at my watch like, God, like, when is going to happen? God, I'm like about to be 47 and you promised me this and you promised me that. Like, when is going to happen? And sometimes finding myself becoming frustrated with God. And, you know, it's hard for a lot of people to acknowledge that sometimes. But y'all know how Shay is. I'm just going to be honest and transparent about it. It can get very frustrating. You know, it's like we put a time crunch on God and we're telling God, like, we know best. We don't know best. We don't know nothing, apparently. You know, we don't know what's right, but God does. We don't know the perfect timing, but God does. So, you know, we have to remember that no matter where we are in life, what we're going through, the promises that we're believing God for, the promises that he has made for us, if he said it, it will come to pass. We have to just wait on him, not be rushing him, because guess what? He probably sitting there laughing at me sometimes, like you looking at your clock and I'm not. So I'm in control. You tell me I'm in control. You allow me to be in control. So let me be in control. And sometimes it's hard for us to just let go and let God. That saying is so cliche, right? Everybody says it because what? Ultimately, that's what we really need to do. Place it at his feet and leave it there. But a lot of times we say those things because it sounds good, but we don't say them and really mean them inside our hearts because we don't do it. We don't let go and let God. If you letting go of something, it is not going to stress you out anymore. It is not going to burden you down anymore if you truly have let it go. So when I think about those speed limits, right? I'm thinking about us waiting on God and stop rushing God to do what he does best, which is let everything happen on his timing. Let him be in control. We have to stop trying to rush him. He's a perfect God who makes no mistakes. So be encouraged, you know. I'm encouraging myself telling y'all this, right? You know, because there are some things I'm waiting on God to do, you know. But it's up to us to really wait on God. Let God be God, period. That part. And so it's like that's what we have to do, guys. We really have to stop rushing God to get things done in our timing. You know, when we think of even if God did everything on our timing, oh my word. That's scary to me, because then we would be getting blessings prematurely and then they might not last, you know. And so it's like I'd rather get my blessing from the Lord and it lasts forever than get a temporary blessing and then something goes wrong and I lose my blessing. Because the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. That's what Job said, you know. So let's be encouraged. Stop putting the speed limits on God and let God be God in your life. Let go, let God, wait on God, and watch him show up and show out. Amen? Amen. So before Shay go, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, check out my website at www.talkswithshay.org. You can subscribe to my videos on YouTube and find me on Facebook. Like my page, share my page, invite your friends to like my page. And until next time with Talks with Shay, Shay is out. Y'all stay blessed.